I was driving home from a late shift when I first noticed the signs. The road was empty, the sky ink black, my headlights slicing through fog thick enough to taste. I'd driven this same rural highway for 12 years. Nothing ever changed. Until tonight. A fresh metal sign stood at the bend. This way are Hawkins residence. My name. I slammed the brakes so hard my seatbelt carved my shoulder. Another sign blinked into view 100 yards ahead. Turn backer. Hawkins residence. My pulse spiked. Nothing this personal should exist. Then I saw the third sign, swinging gently in the wind. You're later. Hawkins resident. Someone wanted me home. Someone who knew exactly who I was. I'm Rebecca Hawkins, 32, living in a quiet stretch of rural Ohio, the kind of place where houses sit a quarter-mile apart and you can hear coyotes at night. Most days it's peaceful. Most nights it's lonely. My mother died in that house 10 years ago. My father left soon after. Since then, it's been just me. Lately, though, things had felt wrong. Doors closing by themselves. The porch light flickering whenever I walked by. A constant, unnerving sense of being watched. But road signs, that crossed a line. I got out of the car with my phone flashlight shaking in my hand. The metal sign was new, the paint fresh. No graffiti, no county markings, no bolts loosened. It was professionally made. Someone prepared it, and someone planted it while I was at work. I backed toward my car. That's when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Don't ignore the signs, Rebecca. The message sent chills through my bones. I drove forward slowly, watching the darkness swallow the pavement. The next sign appeared 2 minutes later. Wrong turner. Hawkins residence. Wrong turn? I grew up here. There was no wrong turn. Except, the road ahead didn't look familiar. A fork that never existed stretched before me. One path vanished into fog. The other wound toward a single blinking street lamp. Another sign hung crookedly beneath it. You should know this road. A memory tugged at me, my mother shaking me awake one night when I was maybe 7. Never follow the signs, she whispered, pale and trembling. I thought it was a nightmare. Now I wasn't so sure. I took the right fork toward the blinking lamp. As I approached, the fog thinned enough for me to see a small wooden plank nailed to a post. Home is waiting. I shivered. Home wasn't waiting. Home was the one place I didn't want to go. The road began to narrow, swallowed by trees that leaned inward like eavesdropping giants. My mother's voice echoed in my memory. If the woods shift, don't look back. Back then, I didn't understand. Tonight, I did. The trees weren't where they should be. I gripped the steering wheel and kept driving until the road opened suddenly into a clearing, one I had never seen before. In the center stood another sign. You left something behind. I stepped out, scanning the area. Dead leaves. Mud. No tire tracks except my own. Something glinted in the grass. A small silver locket. My locket. The one I lost when I was 13. My hands trembled as I picked it up. Inside was a picture. Me and my mother, smiling against the old barn near our house. Except, my mother's face in the photo was scratched out. Deeply. With force. A twig snapped behind me. I spun. Nothing. I hurried back to my car. But as I grabbed the door handle, headlights appeared behind me, a car approaching fast. Relief washed through me. Until I saw it wasn't a car. It was a bright spotlight attached to a tall metal pole. Another sign illuminated beneath it. Stop looking for help. I floored the gas pedal. The road twisted and curved unnaturally, as if reshaping itself. My GPS kept glitching, flashing, recalculating route to R. Hawkins' residence. Then, you can't avoid this. The trees thinned, revealing the familiar stretch of road leading to my house. Except, there were signs everywhere now. Stuck into the ground, hammered into trees, duct-taped to poles. Some old, some new, all pointing home like a magnetic pull. One read, "She needs you." Another, "You left her alone too long." My heart swelled with a mix of dread and grief. My mother. She had died in that house. But her last days were strange. Whispers at night, frantic notes scrawled in her diary, pages torn out and burned. I remembered one entry I found after she passed. "The house knows her. It wants her back." At the time, it sounded like delusion. Now, I wasn't sure. As I reached the top of the hill, the final sign stood directly in the road, forcing me to stop. "Welcome home, Rebecca." The front porch light flicked on, even though I hadn't changed the bulb in years. A figure stood in the doorway, a silhouette, still, waiting. I stepped out of the car with the locket clenched in my fist. "Mom," I whispered. The figure stepped forward. Softly, slowly. Not my mother. Me. A woman who looked exactly like me. Same face, same posture, same small scar above the eyebrow I got in high school. But older, gaunter, her eyes darker. A perfect, damaged reflection. She raised her hand in a small wave. "Welcome home," she said, voice identical to mine. I stumbled back. "What are you?" She tilted her head, smile stretching unnaturally. "I'm the one who stayed." I shook my head. "Stayed where?" She stepped onto the porch. "You left this house 10 years ago. But not all of you left." My chest tightened. "I don't understand." She pointed to the locket. "You lost that the same night you tried to run." "No, I dropped it at school." She laughed. My laugh, but wrong. "You don't remember the night she locked you downstairs?" My blood ran cold. Flashes hit me. My mother screaming, a basement door slamming shut, a shape moving in the dark, a whisper. "One of you must stay." I staggered. My other self continued. "You walked out. I stayed behind. The house kept me, fed me your memories, shaped me into you." I backed toward my car. She took one step forward, bare feet touching the dirt. "And now, Rebecca, it's been long enough." Another figure appeared behind her. A man. Then another. Then a child. All versions of me. Copies. Shadows. Leftover pieces of every time I ran from something. The signs hadn't been guiding me home. They had been luring me back. The house wanted its original, not the fractured thing that escaped. My double whispered, "Come take your place." The air thickened with a humming vibration. The porch boards groaned like breathing lungs. The house lights flickered in patterns, beckoning, commanding. Everything in me screamed to run. But the signs behind me changed at once, flipping on metal hinges I hadn't noticed until now. They now read, "No exit, no escape, no more running." My double stood at the foot of the porch. "You left me to rot in here," she said quietly. "Now it's your turn." The crowd of other Rebeccas stepped closer, moving in sync, eyes hollow. The house trembled. Something inside the walls whispered my name. I clutched the locket tighter. If I went inside, would I become one of them? If I ran, would the signs chase me forever? My double extended her hand. "It's time to come home." I stand at the end of the driveway now, cold wind cutting my lungs, dozens of versions of myself watching from the porch. One step forward, and I join them. Point one step back, and the signs will drag me home again. So I ask you, if you were me, would you walk into the house and face the version of yourself you abandoned? Or run, and risk being hunted by the signs forever? What would you choose, the house or the signs?